Tammy here from the Process Programming. I am here to give you a rundown of the rowing machine for Hyrox. As you guys know, there's only one station when it does come to the event itself, but transitions, knowing how to get in and out of the rower, knowing what damper setting you should have, and knowing what foot pedals you should set yourself up with will be really helpful and will also help you a lot with your overall time. So if we think about that transition, we don't want to be spending 20 to 30 seconds trying to get in and out of the rower. If we can make that a little bit more efficient, we're obviously able to reduce the total time of the event. So what we're going to have a look at first is the foot pedals. So first thing we're going to talk about is the foot pedals. With the foot pedals, we have a number that ranges anywhere from 1 through to 5. Technically, there's a 0 and a 6, but they're just not labeled. What you're going to do is try and set that up so that when your foot is in the rower, it's going to sit just at the bottom portion of your laces, pretty much over that big bone of your big toe, okay? So that's where we want it to be. Some people like it slightly higher, some people like it slightly lower, but what we don't want to see, for example, is someone sitting all the way at the 6 mark here, their heels in, and then they've only got a little portion of their toe strapped in. We want to feel nice and secure in the rower. So the second thing that we're going to talk about is just to make that transition a little bit faster in and out of the rower. We don't really want to be getting in and having to move the straps. So if we have the chance to change the straps before the event, what you guys would do is slot your feet in, tighten them up just enough so that if you were to pull back, you have some tension, but at the same time, so you're not going to have to touch them. So you could slide in and out without having to touch them. Yes, it's not going to be super tight, but it's secure enough for you to be able to do the row. That's going to help you to jump in and out of the rower nice and fast. So let's take a look at how to get into and out of the rower relatively quickly. Okay, so when you're coming in from your run before the row, you guys are probably going to either enter from the side or behind the rower. So I'm going to show you 2 different styles of being able to get into the rower, okay? So if you're running in and you're jumping into the side, what I would suggest is pulling your seat back, sitting in, leg opposite to the hand is the one that's going to go in. We grab the handle, you pull out, and then as you're coming back in, you slide that foot in and off you go, ready for the row. I'm going to show you one more time. So depending on which side of the rower you're coming in from, I'm coming in from the left-hand side. I'm going to run in, I'm going to grab it with my right hand, pull the seat back, left foot goes in, drive back, slide my right foot in, and then go. Something that people spend a lot of time doing is fiddling around with that second foot. To be honest, with a 1K row, it's not the end of the world if you don't get it into the strap. So sometimes me, if I've judged it or haven't quite gotten it right, I'll just put my foot on top, okay? There's no point trying to spend, like I said, 15, 20, 30 seconds of your time trying to strap that foot in. Just pop it on top. As long as you got one secure, you should be okay. We're going to have a look at an entrance from the back of the rower, which is actually relatively similar. So this time, instead of coming from the side, what might happen in the event is that you're going to be running from behind the rower. Again, similar principle. Step in, you'll have a side that feels better, slide it in, and go. Something that I would suggest for you guys to do when you practice this is just add it as part of your warm-up. Jump yourself in, try the left side, try the right side, try it from side to side and from the back to see which one feels good for you. And then when it comes to the event, you guys will be able to do that. In terms of actually warming it up, depending on how you pick up the skill, if you get it straight away, I'd probably do anywhere from 3 to 5 sets with 10 strokes after. And then obviously as you're doing your training, start to implement that as well. So when we have our feet in the straps, a lot of people get stuck as they're trying to get out of the rower. When they're trying to pull their foot straight up like this, your heel actually catches in this back portion just here. So what you're going to think about instead is actually pushing your foot up before sliding it out. Okay, so instead of just pulling it straight up, you're going to push it up and then slide your heel out. Now again, we spoke about that setting of the foot paddle. If you have it in the wrong place or if it's too low or too high, it's gonna make it a little bit difficult to get your foot out as well. So another thing to consider with the rower is the damper setting. So if you've not heard that word before or you don't understand what I mean, we have numbers that go along the side of the rower that range anywhere from 1 to 10. Now, it is a misconception that if you go on a 10 that you're going to be going faster. That's not necessarily true. Think of it like the gears on a bike, and think of it like a strength or a weight, of a deadlift, right? So someone who is a little bit more endurance based, someone who is a little bit weaker, you would benefit more from having a slightly lower number so that you can keep yourself at an aerobic pace. Someone who's a little bit stronger, they're going to be sitting up higher on the machine. Now, to give you a guideline, for someone like me, I row between a 5 and a 6. Most guys in our sport, at least, row between 6 to 8. So don't get fooled into thinking you have to have it on a 10 unless they state that as a prerequisite for the event that you're attending. So what I'd actually suggest doing is part of your warm-up. Let's just say you did a 5-minute to 10-minute row. I would start with the damper setting up at either 10 or down at 1. And then every minute or so, I would increase it and just see which one feels the best. There's gonna be a point where you feel most comfortable, and I would suggest sticking around that area for when you do your rowing. So for the final portion of this video segment, the last tip that I'm gonna give you guys is just a little bit of a rundown of the actual technique of our row. So the movement that it's most similar to is something like a sumo deadlift high pull. If you have not done that movement, not a problem. What I'll do is I'll just demonstrate it and talk it through nice and slowly. So we have 4 different positions that you guys will go through. The first one is going to be the catch, okay? So the catch is when we're all the way in, nice and close to the fan wheel. From there, we have the drive, which is going to be a solid leg drive. From the leg drive, we have the pull, and then we have our recovery stroke, which will be arms first, then legs follow. So it's from the catch, drive, pull, arms back, legs in, drive, pull, arms back, legs in, drive, pull, arms back, legs in. So the predominant amount of work that is happening comes from the legs. The recovery stroke is called that for a very good reason. You should be allowing yourself time to recover there. Your stroke rate, how fast you're moving in and out, it's definitely dependent on person to person. We spoke about that damper setting before. Someone with a higher damper setting will probably find that they have a slower stroke rate because per pull with their strength, they're probably going to be pulling a slightly faster pace and then chilling on the way in. Someone who's a little bit more aerobic based and has the number a little bit lower might be moving in and out a little bit faster. What you just don't want to be doing is a super inefficient stroke where you're going wild all the time. Instead, find a rhythm that works for you. Again, using your screen at the top right, that's where your strokes per minute are. You can use that in the warm-up to gauge what feels good for you. Again, all of this is based on preference, so you're gonna have to find the damper setting, the foot pedals, and all the things that work for you, but that technique of how to actually row remains the same across. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video and learnt a little bit about rowing transitions, damper settings, and how to actually row.